A newborn baby suddenly starts crying. Outside, something hears the sound. The wolves stop moving. They know exactly where your family is. Inside the cave, nobody says a word. The fire is almost gone. The baby won't stop crying. The father slowly picks up his wooden spear. If he fails tonight, his family story ends here. But this wasn't a rare night. This was everyday life 30,000 years ago. How did ancient parents protect the most fragile lives on Earth? The answer shaped the future of humanity. Because without those children, none of us would be here today. Scientists believe human childhood is unusually long, much longer than almost any other animal. That made human children extremely vulnerable. Every single day was a battle against nature. Cold could kill, hunger could kill, predators could kill. Even one mistake could end an entire bloodline. So ancient humans learned something extraordinary. Protecting children was more important than anything else. But how did they actually do it? Without walls, without locks, and without safety? The first rule was surprisingly simple. Never let the child out of your reach. Not for 1 minute. Not for 1 hour. Not even while sleeping. Ancient parents rarely left babies alone. Because danger never rested. Predators weren't the only threat. Cold could arrive without warning. So could heavy rain. Or dangerous terrain. Every journey was a risk. That created a new problem. How do you carry a child and still survive yourself? The answer changed human history. Parents used animal hides to keep babies close. Close enough to stay warm. Close enough to stay safe. The baby could hear its mother's heartbeat. And the mother could react instantly. Every second mattered. Every decision mattered. Every child mattered. Because every child carried the future. But carrying babies solved only one problem. Night was still coming. And the darkness brought new dangers. So how did ancient families survive the night? When the sun disappeared, the real danger began. Humans couldn't see well in the dark. But predators could. Every strange sound could mean death. So ancient families stayed together. Nobody slept alone. The fire never stopped burning. Someone always stayed awake. Watching, listening, waiting. Children always slept near the center. The strongest adults slept closest to danger. If something attacked, adults would face it first. Children stayed behind. That simple strategy saved countless lives. But predators weren't the only problem. The cold was just as deadly, especially for babies. They lost heat much faster. So parents shared their own body heat. Warmth became protection. Protection became survival. Survival became humanity's greatest advantage. But surviving the night was only half the battle. The next challenge was finding enough food for every child. Dawn brought a new problem. Hungry children were waiting. Babies needed food every day, and winter offered very little. So the adults left the shelter. They searched for tracks. They searched for berries. They searched for roots. They searched for anything edible. Every discovery mattered. Every mistake mattered too. Some plants could be dangerous. Elders taught the difference. Knowledge became food. Food became survival. Hunters shared their catch. Nobody ate alone. Children were fed first. Babies stayed close to their mothers. Warm, safe, and protected. A successful hunt meant hope. A failed hunt meant worry. But the tribe faced it together. They shared what they had. They protected the smallest first. Because every child mattered. Every child carried the future. And the future had to survive. But food was not the greatest danger. The next threat could arrive without warning. Then came the storms. Nature gave no warnings. A clear sky could become deadly within minutes. Rain soaked everything. Fire became difficult to protect. Without fire, the cold spread quickly. Babies were always the first concern. Parents used every layer they had. They blocked the cave entrance. They stayed close together. Body heat became survival. Every adult protected every child. Nobody faced danger alone. But storms weren't the only disaster. Rivers could suddenly flood. Strong currents carried everything away. Parents never crossed carelessly. Children crossed first. In the safest possible way. Experience saved lives. Knowledge became protection. Protection became tradition. Every generation learned. Every lesson mattered. Every mistake could be fatal. That's how families survived. But another danger was waiting. And this time, it wasn't nature. Sometimes, the greatest danger walked on two legs. Another tribe. They wanted the same things. Food, water, safe land. Resources were limited. That created conflict. Ancient parents knew the risks. Children stayed behind the adults. The strongest stood in front. The youngest stayed hidden. Safety came first. Fighting was dangerous. Everyone could lose. Avoiding conflict was often the smartest choice. Protecting children mattered more than winning. Survival was the real victory. Every parent understood that. Every tribe remembered it. Wisdom passed from generation to generation. Children learned by watching. They learned by copying. They learned by surviving. Every lesson made them stronger. One day, they became the protectors, and the cycle continued. But childhood itself was changing, because the next challenge was teaching them how to survive alone. Survival wasn't inherited. It was taught. Every lesson could save a life. Children learned to stay quiet. They learned to listen. They learned to observe. Every footprint told a story. Every broken branch was a clue. Every sound meant something. Ancient children grew up fast, much faster than today. They collected firewood. They carried water. They gathered food. They watched the babies. Everyone had a job. Nobody was useless. Teamwork kept everyone alive. Every child became stronger. Every year brought new skills. One day, they hunted beside the adults. They protected their families, just like their parents once did. But there was one final challenge. What happened when a child became sick? Sometimes, the enemy couldn't be seen. There were no wounds, no predators, no storms. Yet the child grew weaker. Ancient parents had no medicine. They had only experience and hope. They stayed close. They stayed patient. Nobody left the child alone. Every hour mattered. Warmth became treatment. Rest became treatment. Clean water became precious. The tribe worked together. Some gathered food. Others protected the camp, so the parents could stay. Survival depended on everyone. Sometimes, the child recovered. Sometimes, they didn't. Life was fragile. Every day was uncertain. Yet they never stopped trying. Because every child mattered. Every child carried humanity forward. And that's why we're here today. But one question still remains. Why did humans survive when so many other human species disappeared? Scientists believe the answer wasn't strength. It wasn't speed. It wasn't sharp teeth. It was something far more powerful. Cooperation. Parents helped each other. Grandparents helped too. Older brothers and sisters helped. The whole tribe became one family. Every child belonged to everyone. That changed everything. More protection. More knowledge. More chances to survive. Generation after generation, humans became stronger together. Not because they were fearless, but because they cared. They protected the weakest. They shared what they had. They never gave up. That simple choice echoed across thousands of generations. Until today, because every family helped write the story of humanity. So what was the greatest weapon ancient parents ever had? It wasn't a spear. It wasn't fire. It wasn't even the cave they called home. It was love. A parent willing to sacrifice everything so their child could live. That instinct never disappeared. It still lives inside us. Every time a parent protects their child, they continue a tradition that began over 30,000 years ago. Every lesson, every sacrifice, every act of courage built the future. That future is us. We are the children of the parents who refused to give up against the cold, against hunger, against predators, against impossible odds. They survived. They protected the next generation. And because they did, humanity survived. And that's the greatest story our ancestors ever wrote. Our ancestors survived impossible odds. And there are thousands more incredible stories waiting to be told. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.